you want to be a $10, $20, $30,000 speaker, but you're not perceived as that because you're not putting that out there either. And you're not in demand.
Yes.
You're not in demand. If you're in demand, you can make demand. My boss always says that. The more demand that you're in, the more demand that you can make.
Welcome to Speakers and Stages, the series that goes beyond the mic and behind the scenes of powerful events. I'm your host, Lena Castle, event strategist and speaker experience expert. Yes, we're going to sit down and talk with event industry experts from backstage chaos to center stage clarity. This is where the strategy meets the spotlight. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Speakers and Stages, where we go behind the mic, okay, and into the minds of the people shaping the future of speaking and events. And today's guest is someone, if you're a speaker, you need to know her, like absolutely positively need to know her. As the founder of Ebony V Consulting, Ebony Frazier. You guys need to know this name. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to make sure you know her first and last name. She is a sought-after booking agent and speaker consultant who specializes in building strong relationships and closing high-value speaking deals. And we're going to talk about that. She trains beginner and emerging speakers to book themselves successfully and equips booking agents with the systems they need to secure top-tier engagements. You see top tier, not just the little events, but the major events as well. Her work is rooted in strategy, negotiation, and connection, and she brings over a decade of insight into what makes speakers stand out and get selected. If you've ever asked yourself, why am I not getting booked? This episode is for you. Ebony, welcome to Speakers and Stages.
Thank you, Lena. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Yes. Now, like, we're gonna just, start with all the things, because we were talking before we started recording, and I'm just like, capture some of this because it's so rich and it's so good, and I just wish that other speakers could understand what it takes, when thinking about getting on more stages. So before even getting on more stages, Ebony, like, what should they be even thinking about?
Let me tell you, I always tell anyone that reaches out to me, they were like, Ebony, I'm looking for representation. I need help. And I'm asking them, are you sought after? Do you have your EPK? Do you have a website? Do you even know who you're speaking to? Because you can't expect to bring on an agent when you don't have the content to reflect the type of speaker you say you are. There's been a few times where I'll speak to a speaker and I'm like, so who's your audience? Who do you speak to? Oh, I speak to everyone. But you can't market to everyone. I always say, know who your niche is, know who your audience is, and make sure you have the content to back that up.
Yes. Oh, that is so good. And if I back up, if I may, what made you get into this industry, helping speakers get on more stages?
I'm so excited to tell this story. I used to be a preschool teacher. I was in education and I also taught children with autism. Loved it. I came across an amazing guy named Jeremy Anderson who had this group called the Grace Tour at the time. And I started following them. I started posting their content. I found out they were in the DC area. And I'm like, I need to go and meet these people. Long story short, I meet Jeremy, I meet the team. He hits me up in my Twitter like maybe 2 months later. He was like, hey, Ebony, I don't know where you are in life, but I need a booking manager and a personal assistant. And I'm wondering if you would be available. And I was like, I have no clue what I would be doing. And I basically was like, look, Jeremy, if you can teach me the things I need to know, I'm on board. So he brought me on. Long story short, I quit my job as an educator and I started working for him. And I've been booking him for the last 10 years, multimillion-dollar speaker. And I've been his booking agent and personal assistant for the last 10 years. I'm really just now recently started working on my own business, but I love what I do. And I did not think this was the dream career I would be working.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I did not know you was a preschool teacher.
Yes, which helps me today. Like every time I train and coach people, they're like, Were you a teacher before? I was like, actually, yeah. Like I taught for many years and I use that gift even now in my coaching. They're like,
Yeah.
the way you break it down, the way you go back, the way you list things. They're like, Ebony, thank you so much. So yeah, I was a teacher for many, many years.
You and I, we've been speaking for some time now, and
Hmm.
you had mentioned one time about speakers overlooking booking etiquette, like getting.
Mm.
What does that mean?
Overlooking booking etiquette, a lack of communication. For example, I always say there's a CPR to booking: communication, professionalism, and relationship building.
Mm.
Bring booking back to life. CPR, communication. For example, if a lead reaches out to you, why is it taking you almost 4 to 5 days to follow back up with them? Without communication, there's no action.
Oh
And
my,
so if you don't follow up, guess what? They're going to move on to another speaker. Don't have people waiting. There was a major event that reached out to me to book Jeremy because another speaker who was just as popular, their people never got back to them.
oh
Or being very celebrity demanding, like just constantly demanding things or wanting things last minute. Also, if you decide to bring a booking agent on, how are they representing you?
my.
I trained a speaker's booking agent one time and they were late. They didn't, like, even the way they were communicating was just off.
Oh my.
You can't send these people out to represent you. So yeah, that whole booking etiquette thing.
Yes, totally understand when people do not reach back in time, or, "Hey, we need your content, we need your content."
Hmm.
It like, y'all are coming to this event to be,
Yes.
and
Yes.
oh my goodness.
And the speaker community is small, but it's big. And so they will talk about you.
Yeah.
They'll be like, no, you don't want to hire this person because they arrived late. They want all this stuff. They change things at the last minute. They
Mm,
don't have the best representation. You don't want to book this speaker.
yeah.
Even though the speaker can be great, but if their experience with you isn't great, they will not bring you back and they will not recommend you.
Wow. That's a good point. So,
Mhm.
what's the difference between someone that's getting consistently booked and those who are struggling to even break through?
I feel like those who are getting consistently booked know what they want to do and they know who to speak to. They have their marketing down packed. Like I said, they have their EPK, they know who their audience is, they're
Mm,
getting their content out there, and they have the right representation. And I feel like those who are not getting, and their booking etiquette is up here. And I feel like those who are not getting booked like that, they don't know who their audience is. They're sending anybody they can to go and represent them. They don't have any speaking under their belt. They don't have content. They don't have the materials.
mm,
They don't know that they need to be looked for.
mm.
The lack of exposure.
Oh my goodness. Ooh.
Mhm.
Now, and you've mentioned some of these, like, I'm thinking about, like, common mistakes, like, the newer speakers are making when
Mhm.
trying to pitch themselves or land opportunities, and I don't know if is it okay for them to pitch themselves, or should they have someone like you to do the pitching for them?
I say this, if you are just beginning, I if you're a speaker, you're considered as a beginning speaker if it's between 0 to 3 years of experience, and your speaker fee usually ranges between 500 to 5,000. Book yourself, because what's happening is you're not getting incoming leads. So
Mm,
what you're needing outreach attempts. But if you can't maybe pay a booking agent, or again, if you don't have the content, the material under your belt for a
yeah,
booking agent to represent you, what are they going to do with your materials? You just really need to make sure that you have what you need to be able to be booked,
okay.
period. I tell speakers now, if you're just starting out, book yourself. Here are the general information that you need. Jeremy, before he even came to me, he was booking himself for 5 years,
Wow,
4 to 5 years before he even came to me.
wow.
And he taught me some of the tools and resources needed. But he was calling himself, when he came to me, he had his website and his EPK. He knew the
Oh,
costs, everything,
he already had it all together.
had it all together.
All you
Had it
gotta
all
do
together.
is when it's inbound, you just provide them with these things or,
Yep,
"Hey, here's my pricing sheet. This what are we doing?"
yep. He only gets on, like, he has not booked himself in over 10 years. He has not talked about money in 10 years. He
Wow.
does. I tell him, Jeremy, this is where you are. Here's the price. Here's your audience. I organize all that. He goes,
So, does that have to do with when we talk about negotiations? Is that what you do is
yep,
negotiate?
I handle all negotiations. What our process looks like is we'll get an inbound lead. I look at it. I research the company or the school before I even reach out because in my speaking points, I'm going to use part of their mission statement,
Oh,
right? Because I'm personable, building relationship, part of CPR, the relationship part. I look at who they had before. I just do my research. And even when they put a budget in on the form, I
mhm,
don't go with that budget. I'm going to see if they can, I'm going to negotiate that.
yeah. Oh my
Hmm.
that just I mean, it just reminds me of, like, how sometimes us women, like, with just even a 9 to 5 job where we will just take the first number and not even ask for
Hmm.
more or say, "Well, can you also do this?" Or, "Can we fit this in?" And I think sometimes we could do a better job at that, so that's good to hear
Hmm.
you fight for that. You had mentioned also systems and structure, helping speakers have that system in their structure. Can you give us like a peek behind the scenes? What does that
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I always, so one of the biggest bottlenecks that I see speakers go through is a lack of follow up. I
Mm,
always say there is a future in the follow up. For example, if an inbound lead comes in from my client, I reach out to them. If I don't hear back from them within 2 to 3 days, I set up my CRM to contact them. If
mm,
I don't hear back from them again, I set up another 3 days, you know? And then my final email is what I call the breakup email. And 10 to 30% of the people who receive the breakup email will respond. And what my breakup email may sound something like, "Dear so and so and so, I know you were interested in bringing so and so in. I have not heard from you. And I'm basing that off of these three things. Because now I can take data. Number one, you're still interested, but you haven't had a chance to get back with me. Number two, you're going in a different direction. Number three, whatever you want to put, can you please let me know at your earliest convenience?" That's when I get the response.
mhm.
"Oh, Ebony, thank you for reaching out. We want to move forward still with Jeremy or whoever. Thank you for following up." So you need to have an email sequencing in
Mm,
place, you know?
yeah.
Same thing with calling and even tracking your data. You got to be organized. You got to be organized.
This information is gold because I think that
Yeah.
sometimes people may perceive, oh, they just get on the stage and like before they even get there, there's a process that's happening.
Yes.
I'm hearing.
There's so much there's so much behind the scenes, even the questions that I ask. If Jeremy's speaking at a school, what do I ask to move the booking process? Does Jeremy need a certificate of insurance? Does he need to be a vendor registration? Do I need a PO? There's questions I have to ask because sometimes even those you're working with don't know the answer. They
Wow.
don't know. And I can't tell you how many times where I will ask the questions and they'll be like, "Oh, Ebony, no, I don't think." And one time we almost lost a huge deal because I didn't have a certificate of insurance. But now I know to ask that.
Oh, wow.
They should have told me that.
Yes.
You know? So asking the right questions when you're moving along in the booking process.
Mm. So
Mhm.
now that there's different trends, it's a little bit of different trends and shifts
Yes.
in industry, and we're moving in and, we got AI, we got all these different things that are
Mhm.
now for serious speakers, what should they be paying attention to with the shift that's changing and the new things that are happening for those who are being booked?
I really love that question, Lena. I was just having that conversation with someone. So, this is why it's so important to do market research on the speaking business. When I was doing my research to see that the speaking business is a $1.8 billion business and it keeps rising, but the trends are constantly changing. For example, even right now, you have a lot of people who are looking for subject matter speakers.
Yeah.
They want speakers who want to talk on a specific topic.
Mhm.
Or so if you are well versed in, like you said, AI or technology, like really know. who, if you are pitching yourself, really know, and you have all your stuff together, know who you need to reach out to. Also, what I started learning is that there are some corporations that will have like a meeting for their staff and they'll do entertainment, but they want a speaker to do a keynote presentation before the entertainment comes out. So it's like an opening act.
Ah,
Yeah, and so I'm just like, "Oh, this is new." And there's another inquiry that I got one time where they wanted Jeremy to come, and kind of the same thing I just said. They're like, does Jeremy have an opener?" I'm like, "No, no, he doesn't, but that may be something to think about in
yeah.
the future, bringing on another speaker to open up." So, yes, it's constantly changing, which is why you need to constantly do the research.
Well, how do people do the research? Like, where are they going? They're just going to Google?
I go to Google and I ask my boy Chat. I'm like, Chat, what are the latest speaker trends for this year? What do you see? Who is being requested? What is being wanted? Like who? And then Chat gives me a whole website and I'm like, okay, this is good to know.
Yeah.
But it's really understanding what the needs are.
Is it
Mhm.
so I'm very biased to speakers having a team and making sure that
Yes,
they have somebody that's showing up. Can you talk about why it's important to have the right people around the
yes.
speaker that's coming in? What is that? Why? Why do they need some?
Yeah, team is so important. And I can tell you, speaking from a standpoint from the Jeremy Anderson group and that team, I was the very first team member. Then, as we started to grow, we had to bring on more people,
Mm,
another videographer. We started our speakers program. So, we had to bring on people that can to manage that. And so, we all work together. We have a body, but we have different parts. But without those parts, we cannot move and sync.
yeah,
And you have to have the right team members to believe in the vision, and everybody has to play their part.
yeah.
And so the team is so important because you lose without it.
Wow. Because they're doing
Mm,
so much behind the scenes that they don't have to do.
so much. Yeah.
All
So much. So much.
certain speakers that are like, I want to be booked. I kind of got some of their questions of what they
Mhm.
think is really important or too shy to ask. Some people are just too shy. And I'm like, you have to ask the question so that you can get the right information, especially from someone that is doing the booking. Don't take advice from
Mm.
people that are not doing the work.
I d and I see it all the time, and then they give the wrong information. I'm like, "But that's not true."
Yeah, I know you said for the newbies, there are certain things that they need to have in order. Besides the media kit and things like that, is there anything else that they should have? Do they need to have a speaker website? Do they need to have a speaker reel?
I think so because again, you with those speakers who are just starting out, you may not have the content to have the speaker reel. And if you can't get the website together, get a landing page, get a link tree, have something that someone can go to. Start doing free events where you're capturing content,
Yeah.
where you're capturing your message so you can put it on your website, so you can create a sizzle reel. You have to know that you will be doing a lot of free events.
Mm,
You need the content. How are you going to get the content? People aren't asking you to come in.
yeah.
So how are you exposing yourself? How are you know that you're needed and wanted to solve a problem? So start doing free events, get that captured, start a YouTube page. Put
Mm.
your stuff on your YouTube page. The number one question I ask people when they reach out to me about Jeremy, how did you find Jeremy? How did you come across him? Oh, we typed in motivational speaker and Jeremy's YouTube came up.
He was right up.
Yeah, right there. So when you have a YouTube, get your speaking on there, put hashtags such as motivational speaker, educational speaker, some sort of title that's going to come up in the search engine.
You just said something really key, and I don't want
Mhm.
to go past it. You mentioned about being clear on the problem that they're solving.
Yes.
What do you mean by that? I have an idea, but I would love for
Yeah. For example, if you're in the corporate world and the sales are down, but they know that this speaker right here has a message that's going to empower them and motivate them and help give them a huge ROI, they're bringing him in.
yeah.
That he's solving their sales problem, that
Mm,
he's solving their leadership problem.
that's so good.
I'm okay with putting this out here, but a presentation for my client is $40,000. for a presentation up to an hour. He did such an amazing job. They wanted to bring him back, so I raised the price. Oh, to an extra 10,000. I was like, there's no way you're gonna sit here and tell me that and me not raise the price,
Yes.
And so they were like, okay, because he solved the problem.
Yeah.
A retainer is the most important thing. Like, you want to build relationships where they bring you in over and over again, but they brought in this new speaker and they didn't do the best job. So they lost money, but when they brought Jeremy in, and so they brought him back the following year and to solve the problem.
From your experience, when people are asking Jeremy to come back, is there a magic there that other speakers need to be thinking? Because there's speakers that are like, I spoke and then crickets, like I wasn't asked to come back. So
I go back to the follow-up system. Keep them involved, reach out to them, let them check in, see how they're doing. What we do, which I love that our Jeremy does, is that we send holiday cards to our past clients. I'm doing quarterly check-ins, but also, even though the speaker is wonderful, I also know that I presented myself and I built that relationship with them. They want to work with me again. Ebony, we want to work with you. Jeremy tells me all the time when he goes to these events, they're like, I love working with Ebony. I want to work with her again. You have to have the right personality, the right representation, again, booking etiquette. And you just have to really know that you are representing a company. You're representing a speaker. I am the first face that they see and speak to before they even get to Jeremy.
Oh my goodness.
I take it very seriously.
I mean, that is also a message to others that are either booking agents, event planners, the brand is speaking before the actual event. It's way before. And I think
way before.
It's
way before. They just don't, like, if I was rude, I literally get emails and be like, Ebony, thank you for getting back with me right away. Your communication is impeccable. Thank you for representing Jeremy. So, like, these are the responses that I'm getting, feedback that they're telling Jeremy when they follow up. Wow. If I didn't do what I needed to do, they wouldn't want to work with me. They would move on. We've experienced it where people come to us because they will start working with speakers and it's a horrible experience. And so that's what they extend their research.
I was talking to a client yesterday about the value that you're providing the audience that's directly connected to the number or the dollar amount. And I think that there's a disconnect. People who want to be motivational speakers and it's not really clear of the problem that they're solving, but still want to get paid over $10,000 to speak for 45 minutes. So I don't know if there's something there to chit chat about.
Value proposition. I love that. Like the value proposition part, like you said, you want to be a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 speaker, but you're not perceived as that because you're not putting that out there either. And you're not in demand.
Yes.
You're not in demand. Like, if you're in demand, you can make demand. My boss always says that. The more demand that you're in, the more demand that you can make. I was having a conversation with someone and they were like, oh yeah, we have the money, but I'm not paying that for that speaker. Because the value wasn't there. They didn't see the value. They were asking for this, but their website wasn't the best. Even the videos that they had, their speaking style was very off.
Wow.
They weren't consistent in their speaking style. They were very dry or whatever that may have been, but they're not going to pay it for that speaker. For this speaker, they will.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
to your point, it's all about relationships. When people come to me and I'm just redirecting, I'm like, you probably need to talk to Ebony.
Yeah.
Because if people come up to me and say, Lena, I need more stages or I'm like, in my mind, and I sometimes depend on what the relationship is that I have with that person, but I have to be honest. If you're looking for more stages, you need more relationships.
Yes.
All of us know each other.
everybody knows each other. And that's why, again, part of my CPR, the R is relationship building. Like, you have to continue to build relationship with people. Even like with you, I know that I'm building this relationship with you. You have many connects, and I know we've even talked about me bringing Jeremy in for a few things. You know what I mean? But that's because it's based off of the relationship that you and I have. You can be a great speaker, but like I said, there's so much that it goes beyond the booking. I
Yeah.
always say that it goes beyond the booking, it goes beyond the stage. It starts so minute first here, and that's what opens up to everything else.
Oh my goodness. I love this because you and I, we could talk for days
Yeah.
about just Ben speaking. And is there any best, I don't know, tip that you could give the audience? And I think that there's two types of tips. You have the newbies who are like, I'm just trying to figure this out. And then
Mhm.
you have, I've been doing this for some time. I know what I'm doing. Um,
That's
in
good.
this
I'm thinking
industry.
about this. I want to say for the newbies, I'm trying to think this as I'm talking to you. I think I want to say for the newbies to just really know, like, just really know who you are as a speaker.
Mm,
Like, know who you want to talk to. Know, like, just see where you want to be. I feel like if you don't know that, how can you start anywhere else?
yeah.
Again, like I said, when I'm speaking to new speakers, you're like, oh, I speak to everybody. What does that mean? Like,
Mm,
you speak to churches, you speak to corporations, you speak to schools. Well, you're going to confuse people. What does that mean you speak to everybody? Choose one lane and then other doors will open up for you. So I
mm,
say, like, a perfect example is when Jeremy was heavy in the education space for a long time, we have now transferred to corporate. But some of our biggest corporate gigs came off of videos that they saw Jeremy speaking in schools. So
yeah.
just really know who your audience is for the newbies and start getting your systems together. Start understanding, like, you need a system in place. You need to know what can you do right now, and then eventually you can have other people do it, but you really got to start on your own. I
Oh,
really believe that. And I feel like for the more seasoned speakers, I feel like, always, believe it or not, always have a plan B.
oh, what do you mean?
Always have a plan B. If Jeremy's going and he's speaking, and say I send a sizzle reel, or I have a speaker reel that I sent them, but they can't pull it up, Jeremy has stuff in his phone. Make It's there so you can give it to them if something happens, or bring, I don't know, if you may be on stage and something's wrong with your shirt, have an extra shirt, or just always have a plan B.
Yes,
Always
everything.
have a plan B. If you're doing a speaking event and you have slides, but what happens if the slides don't work and the tech falls down at the event? What is your plan B? You know what I mean?
Mm,
Maybe you just happen to be like, it's okay, guys, I have it on my phone. Let's do it from here. Or you change your position in your speech, but always have a plan B.
have a
I
plan.
think that's what it is.
Have a plan B. I thought that was going to be my final question, but this is because you mentioned it a couple different times, so I can tell it's important. How does one become in demand?
How does one come in demand? They come in demand when you have the right people to represent you, you
Mm,
know who you are as a speaker, and you're putting your content out there, you're speaking, people want you. You have to expose yourself. You got to put yourself out there. I really believe that.
mm,
Whether it be through social media, whether it be through YouTube, you got to be in demand. People want you, and as they see you more and more being on stage, and you're posting your the places that you're speaking, you're doing videos for here. The
mm,
one thing that I really think is important is that speakers do things such as IG lives, maybe, or just let people see what you're doing in your own family life. Just keep putting yourself out there. Do motivational Mondays, do quick 30-second messages.
yeah.
Just keep putting yourself out there, and the more you do that, the more people are going to want to hear. They're going to want to hear more from you.
Consistency on putting yourself out there.
Yeah,
That's
consistency.
how you can become in demand.
Man, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it.
And then when you become in demand, then you can reach out to
Then
Ebony.
you can make demands. Then you can make those demands. You can give 40 to 50 to 100K for one
Oh,
presentation.
so if you guys aren't hearing what she's saying, be in demand, you can also command the dollar amount as long as you have your value proposition in place.
Yes.
Being consistent. Oh,
yeah. I can't tell you how many times that I will be on a call, and this is a whole nother conversation, but I can tell when I can go higher in my negotiation. But there's so many times where they'll give me a budget. They're like, oh, we have 5,000, and I got it all the way up to Jeremy's closest 30, 25, 30K.
yeah.
You all are asking for a dynamic speaker to come in and again solve a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a budget, and so yeah, when I first started with Jeremy, our asking price was 2,500, 3,500, and now it's all the way up to 40K.
Wow. And the value that they're getting, not just the content. People have to understand that when you have an event, you can have the best decor, but whoever is on that stage, the energy, the everything, it matters. And it is a direct representation of the company, the organization. And if you have somebody that's on there that doesn't know what they're talking about, they got them falling asleep at their seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a person in the speaker industry that's been in it for 40 years that was on one of our conferences, and Jeremy asked him, he was like, what is it that you liked working with Ebony? You know what he said? He said she always has an answer and she always solves the problem. It doesn't matter what it is. She is always ready to solve a problem and she always has an answer. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with me and my people.
It's fine.
I'm gonna do this again. I mean, because you have such a wealth of knowledge in this space that I think that everybody wants to have an Ebony solving problems and fires in the background that protects their brand, it protects their energy. And there's so many other things that it does for a speaker, just able to be in their zone and having some peace before going out and doing their thing. And I think that that is amazing. So I really appreciate you spending some time and hanging out. And I feel like Oprah, are you going to come back and sit on my couch?
I'm going to come back and sit on your couch and I'm going to jump on it. Okay. And let me just say, thank you for the opportunity, Lena. I look up to you so much. I love what you're doing. I feel like you get it. Yes. It's like I'm finally in front of somebody who gets it, and just keep doing what you're doing on your end too. I love your newsletters. I love what you do. You and your company. You are fabulous.
Yes. However that's going to be, but just watch out. There's something. The vibe is just, this is natural. This is not something that's just made up. Like
much fun.
Yeah. Because events, I mean, it could be crazy, but when you have the right people that have the right vibes, that have the right intentions, and we all want the same thing.
Yes.
I hope we all want the same thing. And that's to be able to operate in excellence and to execute, and making sure someone like Jeremy looks good. Yeah. And then also it makes in turn the company organization who hired makes them look good. So
let me tell you, because a lot of these companies, they have FOMO. You got that. They want what everybody else wants. We're gonna get him next year. We want him too. Like you are so right with that.
The next time I'm gonna ask you about this, because there's so many opportunities and money that's left on the table when speakers speak, because there's people that want to book them that just heard them, that maybe they're owners of their own businesses or have other events going on, and speakers miss that if they don't have someone like yourself that's there to
networking the room.
Yes, and having conversations and making sure that, like, Jeremy's having the right conversations with the right people, not the ones that are like, oh my gosh, like there's a time and a place for that. Like we can book things, but people that like sponsors and other strategic partners and people that want to hire. And I think that sometimes speakers miss that. They just be missing the boat. Listen, everybody, Ebony is so busy, okay? This girl is busier than I am busy. And
oh no, girl, you're pretty busy.
I know. But I appreciate you being here on Speakers and Stages. I look forward to you jumping on my couch.
I know. I'm ready to jump again. I had so much fun, Lena. Thank you so much. It's an honor. I love what I do. I love teaching people about what I do. It's just literally is a dream of mine that I didn't know it was actually a dream until I started doing it.
Well, when you talk about it, it lights you up, and I can just tell. It's a natural glow. So I appreciate you. Everybody say bye to Ebony. Ebony, stay here so we can chit chat a little bit after this. You guys, maybe next time. Take care.
Bye.